Good morning. Before I get going here, I have a bowl full of rocks. You all who know me, you know that I was bound to find a way to use rocks in a sermon at some point, right? So I'm going to ask David Lacey, who happens to be the president of the Pasadena Lapidary Society, better known as Rock Club. And just in case you're interested, they meet the third Tuesday of every month in the fellowship hall at 7 or 6. What time does it start? I'm always here, so the times get lost, so it's 7. So please, as David goes around, pick a rock. You can feel free to look around, choose something that speaks to you. I will explain what they're for later. Okay, so most of you know that I know the topics of the talks that I do up here well in advance, months in advance, in fact, but that doesn't mean that I have even a clue what I'm going to say from one week to the next on any given topic. And believe it or not, although I can generally get my bloated nothingness out of the way, to borrow from Emerson, and let the words flow out through me, I'm not always feeling inspired to write when it comes time for me to do it. Such was the case yesterday when I sat down. It wasn't for lack of bits of inspiration. It was because I was thinking too many thoughts about it all, and I couldn't figure a path from thought to thought in a way that it let me kind of string them all together in a way that made sense. Some weeks it's really easy. Others I struggle because I have too many HDs. 80 of those HDs to be exact. You see what I did there? 80 HD? Yeah. So what do I do when I have too many HDs? I head to the Googleverse and I ask the great wizard Google for funny stuff. And I'm kind of hoping that I'll run across something that'll giggle me into inspiration, you know? And what I found when I looked for funny stuff about hope is that it's sparing. There's not much, but I did find some hope puns. And some of them were amusing. I found a Reddit post where user Soul Ray, a Redditor who clearly enjoys taunting their friends, he said, "I need hope puns. I have this friend who I call Hope, which is her middle name and which she doesn't like. I want to tell her hope puns to annoy her. Please help. You're my only hope." And here are the replies. Someone called Booger replied with an acronym, and that was the user's actual name. I did not make that up. Booger's acronym was HOPE, H-O-P-E, Happy Ornery People Exist. A user named Vade Dog, and I'm assuming that's a play on Vader. I can only guess. He said, "Tell her, remember, even if everybody else runs away when you're near, don't give up hope." George XIX, which I'm not sure where he's going with that. I don't know if it's Roman numerals or what. He says, "I hope you'll be responsible with these puns." A Redditor who goes by the name Probably Not the Best suggested, I liked this one, "Call her Obi. I'm assuming she's your only hope." And Reddit and Wept replied, "Try not to annoy her too much or you may end up hopeless." And finally, Booger was back with, "I hope you're single. With puns like these, you should be." No, none of those were knee slappers. They were mostly groaners, right? The original poster's question and each and every reply were full of hope. Hope, or the one-liners posted in the replies. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the fact that the poster hoped people would respond to their inquiry, and each responder hoped the original poster would find their input funny. But the big thing I learned when I tried to find something funny about hope is that people don't joke much about it because people are too busy trying to find it, trying to muster it up, trying to have it, to even begin to think about joking about it. It appears people find hope to be in short supply, and I get it. When times are tough, it's easy to feel like things are hopeless. Bad news and personal struggles, they can leave us feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, emotionally drained. And when we're overwhelmed, exhausted, and emotionally drained, the last thing we want to do is work on finding hope through the haze. A recent article on the University of Wisconsin Health website read, "Hope is not wishful thinking. It is the expectation, the inner belief or knowledge that things will get better," said UW Health psychologist Sheila Mirgan. No matter how large or small the challenge, hope reminds us that things will work out. When we are experiencing trying times, we can experience anger, sadness, even grief. And Dr. Mirgan notes that is normal. Being hopeful doesn't mean we can't acknowledge how we actually feel about a situation. If you've received a medical diagnosis, you're going to feel an entire range of emotions, some of which may be negative, she said, but adds, that's when we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. Dr. Mirgan says that rediscovering a sense of hope doesn't necessarily happen instantly or without effort, but it does start small. Small steps, one at a time, that keep us moving forward. It's like climbing a mountain. If we focus our attention at how far away from the top we are, it'll always feel out of reach. But if we focus on each step, something that is actually in our control, we can work our way up and over that mountaintop. She recommends that we cultivate hope by using the GLAD technique. And again, another acronym, that's GLAD. And I liked this. It was created by psychotherapist and former Buddhist monk Donald Altman. It's a strategy that helps move our focus from what is wrong to what's going well. When we begin to pay attention to the positive, we can find strength to keep going and quite possibly be a source of hope for others. Sorry, I'm being distracted. Audio guy is talking to husband guy, and I got ADHD. I wasn't kidding, folks. So, Dr. Mirgan says, we can get the most benefit when we practice GLAD every day. And remember, even the most basic thing can be the source of meaning in our lives. So G is for gratitude. Just think of one thing that you're thankful for. It could be the umbrella that kept you dry yesterday. It could be the kids who finally put their dirty clothes in the hamper. That doesn't happen in my house. That will not be my gratitude post. It will not yours either. No. It could be the stranger who held the door for you when your hands were full. It could even be the sunshine peeking through the clouds on overcast days. No matter how small or mundane that thing seems, there's always something in our day that can hold meaning, something for which we can be grateful. L is for learn. What's one thing that you learned that day? Maybe the neighbor shared something about herself that you never knew. Maybe a friend recommended a new book to read. It could even be a new song on the radio. When we think about what we've learned, it helps remind us that each day brings new things that we never expected. A is accomplishment. Name something that you accomplished that day. Depending on the situation, it could be something as simple as getting out of bed in the morning. Anybody been there where getting out of bed was a rough thing to look at? Yeah. It could be that. That is a big accomplishment some days. Or it could be going to bed at a reasonable time. It could be doing laundry, thinking about the little accomplishments, no matter what they are. They can help us feel more as though we have a hand in the plan, and it will remind us that we are active participants in our lives. D is delight. Think about one thing, again, no matter how small, one thing that made you smile. Okay, maybe your child said or did something funny that made you laugh, or a coworker wrote an email thanking you for your help. It could even be a funny cat or dog or animal video on the internet. Anybody get those showing up in their feeds? I love them, and I can fall down that literal rabbit hole like really easily for an extended period of time, which is not good. So what you're doing here is you're trying to recall a moment during the day where you felt your spirits lift a little. These small steps, they may not seem like much, but they help break up the negative thought patterns that we get stuck in, and it helps us reorient our thinking. We can rediscover a sense of hope and a belief that things really will be okay. And when we do, we can help be a positive source for others by lending a helping hand, or even just doing something nice, like buying coffee for the person behind us in line, or leaving a bigger tip. I know those are huge concepts right now in this economy, but be with me here. Kindness. And I thought that glad thing, I thought that was a really useful tool to help us get to where we can easily begin to see that divine thread running through everything. Do you remember that golden thread visualization exercise that we did last week? Yeah? Okay, if you weren't here, go to our YouTube channel or Facebook and listen to last week's talk so you can really get in on this. And again, you can hit that little wheel in the upper right-hand corner and you can speed up how quickly I speak, and you can get through it a lot faster, and I will sound like Alvin from the Chipmunks, which makes it so much more fun. So definitely check that out if you want to be here. But here's a quick overview. So you have a golden thread tied to your heart, and that golden thread extends from your heart to the heart of someone nearby, whose thread extends to someone near them, and so on, tying everyone together as one. And your thread also extends far, far, far into your future, weaving Spirit's loving energy throughout your entire journey, and therefore consistently and eternally leading you to more good than you could ever begin to imagine. Close your eyes and reimagine that. That golden thread representing the divine, connecting all of us and extending far, far into your future, extending all the way out to the farthest end of your life, leading you to greater and greater good, to an unfathomable abundance of good. Do you see it? Now, staying aware of that beautiful thread of love coming from your heart, turn around and gaze into your past. Notice that this thread, which you may be seeing for the first time recently, but which has always been there, runs through your entire life. It weaves through every moment, the joyful ones and the painful ones alike. Even when you could not see it, it was there. Even when you felt lost, it was guiding you. In your darkest moments, it was there, and it can never be separated from you. That golden thread of good godness is ever present. Do you see? Did that exercise help you recognize that you have always been and will always be guided by divine hands? Yeah. Right now, we can all see it. But what happens when we leave here and run into our next challenge? How do we reconnect with that thread and hang on to hope when life gets real and raw? I will tell you that life got very real and raw in the last few days for someone that I hold extremely dear. I recently began calling this young lady my sister daughter. And it happened quite spontaneously. And that's funny because although I didn't think of it at the time when that title fell from my tongue, when I was her age, Debbie Smith, anybody remember her? She named me her sister daughter. And I just hope that I can give my friend the kind of magical perspective that Debbie gave and continues to give me. My sister daughter's name is Alyssa, and she is an extraordinary young woman, truly. I could write multiple sermons on her amazingness. She's met and made a big impact on several of my friends here, and everyone is blown away by her openness and her optimism and her spunk. She is genuine, and she faces life kind of like a dog sticking its head out of a car window as it speeds down the road, right? You know, that beautiful, big ear-to-ear grin, absolutely exhilarated by the wind in its face. That is Alyssa. And that image is more than appropriate because Alyssa's only dream in life is to open her own dog rescue. Alyssa lives in a humongous 26-foot travel trailer with her 6 amazing dogs, all of whom she rescued from the streets, and all of whom she adores as though they are her children. And those of you who have animals in your life whom you adore, you understand that the love that you have for them can be just as big as what you have for your kids. Alyssa has sacrificed everything to keep them and give them a good life, including the comforts of a home on a fixed piece of land. Taking care of them has cost her her job for the short term because she has to roll her little home from place to place wherever she can stay safely for a night or two. And when you can't stay somewhere safely, you definitely can't safely leave your beloved children and your belongings there while you go off to work. And I'll note here that she still has a job. It's waiting for her as soon as she's able to secure a permanent safe place for her rolling house. She has one, she just can't go to it yet. But on Wednesday night, while we were having a beautiful service here, my friend Alyssa almost lost it all. And here I'm getting choked up, and I knew I was gonna, and I was trying not to. She almost lost it all, including her life. She had been parked a few miles east of here at the Home Depot, where several people are living in their cars. In this economy where the cost of living is often higher than folks' income. And she's parked there periodically before. There was a gentleman there whom she had met and she'd been friendly with in the past. He would walk over to greet her when she came, and he'd bring gifts for her dogs and keep her company. But last Wednesday night, something in him abruptly switched gears. I will not go into detail, but I will say that he attacked her quite violently and with the aid of a knife. And my spunky, beautiful girl's first reaction was to de-escalate things by getting really calm and still. And it worked until it didn't. He threatened to kill her and then himself if she didn't do what he wanted. And so she waited for an opportunity to fight and run, and when she found it, she fought and ran. And when he realized that he wouldn't be able to catch her, he turned around and slashed all 8 tires on her SUV and her trailer, and then turned his knife on himself. It is tragic and sad no matter how one looks at it. And I could talk all day about the lack of mental health services and housing resources that actually do the work that they profess to do for more than a handful of people. I could go on even longer about how the services which do exist are prohibitive for actually getting help through, much less even talking to a human being who can answer vital questions. But that is not why I am telling you this story. I am telling you this story because of what happened the next day when I was there with her, helping to hold her up while she worked through the kind of complex emotions I could only imagine. Her uncle had come to the rescue and bought her new tires, and everything was up on jacks while they sorted through the work of getting the old ones off and the new ones on. And she and I were each holding a leash attached to one of her dogs as we took them for a walk around the parking lot. And as we were talking, a van pulled up directly to us, and the driver rolled down his window to ask if we knew anything about the incident the night before. And I immediately looked at her to make sure she was okay. She nodded at me, and then she bravely explained what happened while the driver listened, pale-faced, and the passenger sat expressionless. And when she finished telling her tale, the driver gently said, "This is his sister. I am so sorry that happened to you, sweetheart," she said. And what do you think Alyssa's response was? She could have been angry. She could have cried and gotten lost in her fear and sorrow. She could have reacted with any number of variations of fear and pain, but one would have a very hard time imagining what actually happened. Alyssa immediately ran around to the passenger window and tearfully comforted her attacker's sister. She told her how kind he had been to her in the past, how she had loved talking with him, and how he brought gifts to her dogs, how she'd laughed at his jokes and enjoyed their debates. She didn't focus on any of the horrible things she could have. She didn't even allude to them. She expressed concern and offered solace. In the wake of her own darkest hour, faced with the family of her oppressor from only a few hours ago, her response was love. With his sister's blessing, Alyssa asked me to take her to see him at Huntington Hospital, where he is on life support. And she told him she wasn't angry. She recounted stories to him quietly of times that they've shared together, and told him about how their talks made her life happier. She told him she forgave him, and that she wished he hadn't hurt himself. She gave him and herself peace. When I saw her yesterday, she told me, out of everything that happened, seeing him in the hospital was the hardest thing. Knowing that he'll never leave there broke my heart. But you may be wondering where the idea of hope fits into the story. I assure you it's there. Before I even got to the site on Thursday morning, I'd been on the phone with the responding officer and the city's social worker and a mental health responder, all of whom told me how remarkable she is, and all of whom expressed that they want to see her open her dream dog rescue. Even in the immediate wake of her pain and fear, she expressed love for her babies and her vision of being able to do more for the thousands of dogs who've been abandoned or who are without loving homes in our community. And when I arrived, she cried in my arms. And after a few minutes, she said, "I don't know how, but I know somehow this is getting me closer to opening my rescue." That, my friends, is hope. Instead of entering victimhood or blaming herself somehow, she trusted that there is a purpose to everything and that that purpose is good. I want to share something with you that a friend of mine, Reverend Jeannie Soverns, she wrote this, and it was published in the Affiliated New Thought Network's most recent book, which is called Works of Heart. And this particular thing that she wrote, it's called A Love Letter from Beyond. And I was reminded of it when I thought of Alyssa's reaction to everything that happened. This may well be the truth that she hears in her heart as she looks within. But here's the thing. What I'm about to share with you is the truth for all of us. This love letter from beyond is etched in the fabric of our being, each and every one of us. And it begins, "Dearest child of my heart, as your divine parent, I am overwhelmed with joy and love as I behold the radiance that emanates from your being. Your every adventure brings me immeasurable pleasure, and I am honored to be an ever-present companion on your sacred journey. Can you open your heart even wider for what is yet to occur? It's about to be renewed, refreshed, and reimagined as your life and spirit continue to rise. Life's challenges, including setbacks and illnesses, are not obstacles. They are part of the journey. They may test your limits, but they will also reveal hidden strengths and foster appreciation for life's preciousness and a sense of compassion for others. You, my dear, are a unique and precious creation, a goddess with depth and complexity that surpasses your current understanding. This is a pivotal moment in your path, a time of great transformation and growth. Embrace this moment with open arms and an open heart. The time is now. Do it. Stop questioning and doubting yourself. Do you think I was bored and that's why I created you? No, I'm empowering you to live a full and fruitful life. You are my sweet and beautiful creation. I have created you to be more than you can see right now. You, my dear, have a divine mission. Your purpose is to bring joy, laughter, and sweetness into the world. Through your eyes, I see the beauty and wonder of the universe reflected as me. Trust in your decisions as a teacher and way shower, because we all are. Know that all is well and in perfect order, even when doubt or uncertainty may arise. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and feel the love that beats within your heart. It is a steady beacon of light, reminding you that you are unconditionally loved and your journey is blessed. Oh, sweet divine child, the preciousness of it all. The sheer pleasure of you. Your mission has always been for me to have a good time. I am so enamored with you and all that you do. With every step you take, remember that you are never alone. I am always right here beside you, cheering and supporting you in all your endeavors. Trust in the path that unfolds before you and know that you are divinely guided, guarded, and protected. I assure you, it is all good. You are love and light. If you ever forget, just read this letter again and know that you are loved. And it's signed, Kisses and Boundless Love, God, aka Big Daddy. Isn't that beautiful? Reverend Soverns she knows her light and she shines it brilliantly and beautifully. And if you liked what she had to say, make sure you check out Sofa Sundays on Facebook from Begin Within Ministries. They literally host a discussion about all kinds of wonderful universal truths while sitting on a couch. It's really quite cool. Now, I want to go to the rocks that you were given during the talk. I know that last week and today you've been able to hear stories about how others have found the light of hope through the darkness of trials they've faced. But for many of us, it's hard to find it in situations in our own lives. The stone in your hands represents something hard in your life. Something you maybe haven't understood, something heavy or painful. Take a moment and touch into that. Whatever it is, focus all of those feelings and thoughts into the stone. Put it all into the stone in your hand. Really focus in and let the stone hold it. Now, close your hand. Begin to imagine the stone glowing with that golden light, being infused with divine love, as if even the hardness, even the struggle of whatever event or situation you placed into the stone is being transformed and blessed. Now hear me. You may not understand this stone yet. You may not love it yet, but light is working within it even now. Trust that even what feels heavy and hard is a seed of something holy. Take your stone with you and keep it near so that you can touch into that truth in a real and tangible way anytime that you need a reminder that Spirit is in every detail of every moment. I ran across a little reel yesterday, I think, and actor Timothy Chalamet, anybody heard of him? He was in Dune and the most recent Willy Wonka movie. He said, and it kind of blew me away, you could be the master of your fate, you could be the captain of your soul, but you have to realize that life is coming from you and not at you. He is right. You are precious, and everything which happens is for you. Never forget that. Thank you.